New videos every day. Life, wisdom,
Psyche Truth, massage.
Hey everyone, it's Jen, and today I'm going to show you guys some really awesome, simple massage techniques for massaging the chest and arms, a little head and neck. This is just a really relaxing upper body massage, and it's set up so you can follow along with me. So favorite this video, grab yourself a partner, and come back and follow along with me. This will be a really great gift to give someone, a nice thing to do for someone that has a lot of tension in their body. So I am working with Melissa today, and she is already really relaxed, so this is going to make my job a lot easier. I'll just start by gently stretching her chest by simply placing my palms across her shoulders, and in a nice, easy motion, just moving my hands out towards the sides to really stretch through her chest. So a lot of times when people are working at their desk or at a computer, then your chest and pec muscles get really tight. So this is a great way to start loosening up some of that tightness and tension. It also just stretches the sternum and heart open, which is a really great way to just start feeling a little more expanded and more relaxed. So just continuing this motion a few times. And from here, I'll just slide my hands up her shoulders, scoop under her neck, and I'll hook my fingers just at the base of her skull, right there in the occipital ridge. So you'll feel this kind of soft spot right at the base of the skull. There can be some tension that gets stored here, so sometimes it can be sensitive. You want to be mindful about how much pressure you're using. As you sink your fingers into that soft occipital ridge, you can start to apply a little bit of traction, just gently pulling your partner's head towards you. It's not yanking, you're not pulling really hard, it's just a nice gentle traction, which allows you to start to stretch all of the muscles and tendons and ligaments up and down the entire spine. So it's really, really great to access the entire spine just by applying some traction on the head. And you can hold that traction pull for as long as it feels good. Really, the longer you hold it, the more benefit you get, the more stretch your partner is going to feel. So you can just really stay here as long as you want. And we'll just continue from here. I'm going to start to do a little work on Melissa's arms. So I'm using just a little bit of coconut oil today. You can use any kind of oil. Almond oil is great. You can use even olive oil is really good for your skin, and most people have it lying around the house. You can also use lotion if you like, but I find that oil is a little bit more natural consistency, works best on the skin, and oil has a lot of beneficial kind of healing properties to it as well. So I really prefer to use oil. And just applying this oil evenly over her entire arm. Just smoothing out her skin. And just using these long fluid strokes is a nice way to improve the circulation and move some fluids through her arm up towards her lymph nodes that gather in the armpits. So I'm just anchoring her wrist and then using my working hand to slide all the way from her wrist up to her shoulder. So this long fluid stroke is pretty common and typical in a Swedish style massage. And then I run my hand back down along the back side of her arm. So I'm really able to access all of the muscle groups. Then just grabbing her wrist, I'm going to bend her elbow and just gently kind of shake or wiggle her arm. And if your partner is holding a lot of tension, so like if you hold some tension in your arm, it's like you can't really move, right? But naturally, as you start to wiggle and move their arm, they're going to naturally start to relax, and it's going to start to loosen up those muscles. So this is just a nice gentle way to kind of suggest to your partner's body, like, hey, why don't you let go, relax a little bit. This is nice and easy. Then from here, this is a perfect place to come into a nice chest stretch. This is one of my favorite moves to do for people. So just placing my hand across the top of her chest, just gently slide my hand across her shoulder. And I'm applying a little bit of pressure, but it's not too much. It's not really about getting deep as much as it's more about stretching the muscles in her pecs. So again, anyone that you know that's dealing with a computer a lot or driving a lot, then they will most likely have a lot of tightness in their chest. And so this is a simple move you can do that really helps to stretch those muscles out. And you can take it a step further by sliding your hand from the armpit down towards the elbow. And once you get down here towards the elbow, you have nice leverage to continue that stretch all the way across the chest. So you can repeat that a few times. It feels pretty nice. And you'll see I'm still supporting her wrist with my hand, kind of guiding her arm where I want her to go. And you'll feel where there's kind of a natural movement. And you just allow for that movement to occur. So after repeating that stretch a few times, a nice little move I like to do is just place my knee up on a table. If you're working on a mat on the floor, you can sit on your knees, and then just let your partner's wrists rest on your thighs. So here I have complete access to her forearms, and Melissa's a reflexology therapist, so she does a lot of work with her hands, so there's probably a lot of tension in her forearms. Again, people at a computer, texting a lot, builds a lot of tension in our forearms. So here you have complete exposure, so you can really start to work into some of those tight muscles in the forearms. So I'm just using my thumbs to work my way across all of these muscles in her forearms. This is a chance to just kind of take an inventory and feel where there might be some tight places, and just notice anywhere that it feels tight. That's an indicator of a place where I can spend a little bit more time. So here I notice a little closer to her elbow, the muscles are a little bit tighter. So I'm going to use a little bit firmer pressure with my thumb, and I'm leaning in with my body weight. Going nice and slow. I'm just kind of isolating that muscle there that's tight. So every person you work on will be different. You know, I've given massages to hundreds of people, and no two bodies are the same. So it's a new exploration every time you lay your hands on a new person. So really open yourself up to that exploration and notice what you feel in your partner's body. So from here, I like to follow up by just grabbing a hold of that wrist. Then I place my thumbs right in towards the palm of her hand, and I'm gonna pull her hand towards me, straightening through her elbow as I press with my thumbs to flex her wrist. So we can do that a few more times. It's a nice stretch through the hands. Sometimes you'll get a little pop in the wrist. It can be a little surprising when that happens, but it's okay. Usually that little adjustment is good for people. So here I'm just moving into a little hand massage. And since we're gearing this massage a little bit more towards relaxation, then I'm not using a whole lot of pressure through her palm. but really just trying to stretch out those muscles through the hand. And it's amazing how good a hand or foot massage can feel. I'm always blown away that just having my hands massaged can feel so amazing. So if this is all you take away from this video is how to give a great hand massage, whoever you work on will really appreciate it. So after massaging through her palm for a little bit, I like to flip her hand over, and I'll use my thumbs here to stretch across the top of her hand. This is kind of one of my signature moves, you guys. I'm letting you in on some secrets. So the top of the hand and the top of the feet are places that kind of get neglected. Not a lot of therapists spend time working here, but it feels amazing. So it's a really nice treat, a nice way to really step up the quality of your massage. And from here, I'm just gonna squeeze her fingers one at a time. I like to use a little corkscrew motion, just kind of allowing for some mobility through the joints in her fingers. And it's also really interesting to notice how much people carry tension in their hands. You would never think it, but you'll notice when you start working on people's arms and hands how much tension they hold. So the sign of a really relaxed hand is that the fingers are going to curl in slightly on their own, and the thumb will relax as well and move in towards the center of the hand. So sometimes when people are like holding tension in their hand, it's like their fingers are just stretched out. You can tell that they're really holding. So one way I like to help people relax their hand is to grab a hold of the big mushy part of the thumb here, and then you can just shake. So the same idea as when you were shaking their shoulder, right? It's just a way to kind of suggest, hey, let go, release. I'm just gonna shake it out. It feels pretty good too. And so this is a nice way to just kind of finish up one arm, and we can move on to the other side. So again, I'm gonna apply a little bit of oil. How are you doing, Melissa? So again, I'm just applying this oil all the way up and down her arms, and using that same long effleurage stroke to work from her wrist up to her shoulder in one long fluid movement. And I'm really just leaning my body weight in, so I'm not using a whole lot of pressure here. I'm just leaning in. And from here, I'll move her arm out to the side, just kind of shaking, wiggling, suggesting to her body to relax and release any holding patterns. And we can move into that nice chest stretch. So placing the palm of my hand across the top of her chest, leaning in with my body weight, I glide my hand all the way across her shoulder, down to the table. And I usually repeat this about 3 times. You can do it as many as you like, but 3 is kind of my magic number. And then I'll move from her armpit out towards her elbow, just continuing this chest stretch. And then from here, I'll move to the side of the table and just place my knee on the table. Again, if you're sitting on a mat on the floor, you can just sit on your knees and then just rest your partner's hand right on top of your leg. So I have full exposure, full access to her forearm here. So just use my thumbs, working my way down towards her elbow. So this is great. Here as I'm moving from her wrist towards her elbow, I'm helping any fluids in her body, her blood, her lymph fluid, all of these things, moving everything back in towards the heart. And simultaneously, I'm just really paying attention and noticing anywhere that I find any tightness. Here I'm noticing a little bit of tightness a little close to her wrist. So again, I'm just using a little bit more pressure, not too much. It's not going into full deep tissue mode, but just using a little bit more pressure to isolate and access the areas where I notice it's tight. From here, I'll move into a wrist stretch by sliding my thumbs into the palm of her hand. Then I pull a little traction through her arm while flexing her wrist with my thumbs. And again, I like to repeat this 3 times, but you can do it a couple times, you can do it 5 times, as much as feels good for you and your own personal rhythm. And then I just transition easily into a nice little hand massage. Just circling my thumbs throughout her palm. Sometimes you'll notice that your own hands will start getting tired as you massage little circles with your thumb. So if you do find that your hands are getting tired quickly, then that's a nice time to flip her hand over. Then you can use these strokes across the top of her hand. So that kind of gives your thumbs a break while still feeling really good to your partner, and your partner's never gonna notice that you did anything special to accommodate yourself. And the more you practice, the stronger your hands will get, and then you won't have that fatigue in your thumbs so easily. And I just follow that up with some nice kind of corkscrew motions across her fingers, one finger at a time. And just follow it up with a nice long stroke all the way up to her shoulders. And so we can end this massage in the same place where we started, coming right back to her chest and shoulders. And undoubtedly, after doing this work for your friend, they're gonna notice a big difference in the way that they feel. And that's some pretty simple techniques that don't require a lot of effort on your part, but can have a huge effect in the way that your partner feels. And so if you favorite this video, then maybe you can talk your partner into trading with you and giving you a little bit of upper body love too. It's important to take care of each other. Well, thank you so much for watching today. Don't forget to leave me some comments. I really enjoy hearing your feedback. It's awesome to hear how your successes are going. It's really inspiring and exciting for me. So leave your comments below. Give me a thumbs up if you enjoyed this video, share it with your friends, and subscribe to the Psyche Truth channel so you can have an access to all of my videos. Lots of good stuff out there for you to enjoy. You can visit my website, jenhillman.com, to learn more about me and my practice. And I hope you guys enjoy yourself and enjoy this massage work. It's one of the best things you can do for someone else. It's a really sweet thing. So enjoy. Thank you for watching and thanks for sharing. Namaste. I don't know why I wanted to throw a little namaste in there, but